So turn off your television sets. Turn them off now. Turn them off right now. Turn them off and leave them off. Turn them off right in the middle of the sentence I'm speaking to you now. Turn them off.
Hello. Also, I just realized that I'm wearing like green in my background. It's like green
Yeah, you're
screen,
like blending
so
in.
I'm like
I'm
I'm
not
like
blending
blending
in.
in.
I'm screwed.
Oh, look at me. But yeah, we are here to recap The Last of Us. You missed us last week because we decided it would be best to combine these two episodes. So this is episode 4, which is Hold My Hand, and episode 5, which is Survive and Endure. I think I got that right. But before we get into that, Courtney, how's it going?
Don't ask me that. Ron knows how I'm doing. I can't say.
It's been an interesting day to say the least, but
I'm just don't ever say it could get worse
yeah.
because it does. And all I will say is I think Grey's Anatomy and House MD are documentaries. That's all I'll say.
Well, let's focus on like some happy stuff. Let's talk about The Last of Us, which
We're so messed up.
yeah, which is like just the most heartwarming show on television right now. Like it's really like number one, Ted Lasso, number two, The Last of Us.
Which I've been watching, by the way, because I got 3 months of free Apple TV.
Oh yes, like
It's very good.
the bullying was delayed, but it happened. I'm glad you have joined the party. Watch Severance too. Quick,
I
slide
forgot
that in
what. You
there.
know what? I bought an iPhone, so they're like 3, and I was like, "What? What
Yeah,
do I watch in 3 months?"
yeah. Severance, gonna slide that in there. But yeah,
Mhm.
so episode 4, which was a bit of a detour, but
Mhm.
I think it really sets up some things like as far as like the content of the episode. I found this episode to be like much lighter and funnier than any of the other episodes, and you can kind of feel like Joel and Ellie kind of like connecting more in this episode.
Mhm.
Mhm.
It's a very true to the game episode.
Right.
Like we mean funny because there's a lot of moments where Ellie finds this book of puns.
Uh-huh.
And they're very funny. And what's really endearing about it is that in the game, Ellie finds that same book, but like intermittently throughout the game, she'll just like read, and they're really funny. So like in a game that's like horrifying, it's great. So like Joel's like this like really tough guy, and then she finally tries to tell enough jokes. What's the one that finally breaks him? Because it actually is kind of funny.
I think is it the one about the scarecrow? Like why did the scarecrow win a prize because he was outstanding in his field?
No, oh no, it's the diarrhea one.
Oh yeah, it's the diary. Yeah, yeah.
I don't even know how it goes. I just know that one. I was the same. I was like, okay, that's actually really funny.
Yeah, that's actually fun. But
But
yeah,
you like need those. Like I think. Sorry, I just think like again something they do so well, which is find ways to cut tension in moments it's not like weird. Like you know how Marvel used to kind of do it well, but now it's like kind of like okay, that's just corny. It doesn't fit in. Um, they found a way to do it, which is something that's organic to the material, which is a character reading jokes, puns from a book. It feels organic.
yeah, because we have to remember like even in this like very apocalyptic time, like people like even if like there's like nothing to laugh about, like people want a reason to laugh. Like it makes you feel human. So
Well,
like
she's a
it would
child. She's gonna read
yeah.
pun. I had a pun book when I was a child, and I was getting on my dad's last damn nerve.
I understand. So yeah, I definitely like yeah, I could definitely see like the layers of like Joel peeling back with like each joke. Like she was like wearing him down, where he was like,
And the
"All
last
right,
one was
yeah,
funny.
this is funny, yeah, yeah," because he like started to laugh. It's like that's so fucking
I'm gonna find out
stupid.
which one it is
Yeah,
because it
yeah,
actually is
look,
hilarious.
yeah, look that up. I can't because yeah, I don't want to
Because
get it
it's
wrong.
so funny. Okay, no, yeah. All I had to do was see like one other word. Um, did you know that diarrhea is hereditary?
Because it runs
Because
in
it
your
runs in the
genes.
family. It runs in your genes. I'm sorry. It's so funny. I'm so sorry. That's hilarious. And he was laughing just like that. He was like, "That's stupid." He finally broke.
That's stupid.
And another small detail is like we see. I think like Joel's like completely deaf in his. I think his right ear.
Yeah, which is also another great touch because he's deaf because that's like the side where he shoots from. So over time, like he's like progressively gone deaf in that area. Nice little touch to add that.
Mm-hmm. Because that's the thing with combat veterans.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's just like a nice touch of realism. I appreciate
Mhm.
that.
And of course, like for all intents and purposes, he has fought in 2 wars because, like, he did
Wasn't
some
he Desert
things.
Storm or something?
Yeah, yeah,
And now he's yeah.
and now he's in the shit. Yeah, so he's done some things. So yeah, which has definitely taken a toll on him. Um, I, I kind of want to just fast forward, like, so because for not a whole lot, like, we do get to meet Kathleen. So yeah, I guess we could like get into
Crazy, yeah.
Kathleen.
Well, we can say how we got there, which is basically what we see in the
Right.
trailer of he's not really injured, and she's like, "How did you know?" And he's
Mhm.
not injured. It's a scheme. So I do think it's important to add context now, because we're assuming you saw the episode that like this group of people is like I think like this week or the week before overthrew Fedra.
Right.
And
Right.
is this is in Missouri?
Yeah, this is Kansas City. Yeah. Which, yeah. I
I'm
can't.
trying not to make a barbecue joke.
Yeah, I was about to say
I'm
not a
trying my best.
not a whole lot to really say about Kansas City, especially after last night. Let me tell you, I don't have a lot to say about Kansas City after last night. But anyway, yeah,
Ron's like, I'm glad it happened to them. They
can't think
deserved this.
can't think of a better city where this should have happened than Kansas City. Yeah, I hope like Arrowhead Stadium is like burned to a crisp right now.
It's
Like
bombed.
I hope it's like no longer standing. I hope it's like in ruins right now. Like I hope like because by now there's like definitely no, Pat Mahomes definitely wouldn't have happened. So in this universe
Yeah,
there
as I said,
wouldn't have
this
been
never
no
would have
Pat
happened.
Mahomes. Yeah, there would not have been a Pat Mahomes. So yeah, if you give me the choice of like watching last night's game and living in like this universe where Pat Mahomes doesn't happen, I'm taking this one. I'm sorry.
Yeah, because what year was he born? He just would have been like a kindergartner.
Yeah, he's 27, so the math doesn't math thing right now. So yeah. I was born in
Okay, no,
88,
he's a
so
little bit older than yeah.
95.
Yeah, he's a little bit older than Jalen Hurts then, because this is
Yeah,
Jalen
yeah,
like 98,
yeah.
who played fantastically, by the way. Just
He played awesome. Like now that's a guy that can survive the zombie apocalypse. I'll tell you. Yeah.
Mhm.
But but yeah,
No,
let's get
he's
back
somewhere
into
peaceful. He's somewhere peaceful.
yeah, yeah. Cool under pressure, that guy. Um, but yeah, let's get back into Kathleen and this
Kansas City.
for
It's
the
actually
listeners out
hilarious.
there,
I just
air quotes, yeah.
oh god.
Yeah, I'm gonna air quote for the listeners out there, this resistance group. So yeah,
Sovereign
they
citizen.
exactly sovereign citizens. Yeah, they will not
The
sign that
worst
medical
people.
release form. Yeah, but yeah, they overthrew Fedra, which
Like
isn't
very
like
recently.
yeah,
Because they're
like very
still like
recently.
collaborators alive. We see that in the
Mhm.
second part.
Yeah, why don't you? I mean, mixing for context, this episode and the next one. Like, why don't you go into what the collaborators are?
Um like what do you like they're so the collaborator is someone you basically were like a normal person, but you worked with Fedra in some way against the resistance. But it's not just because like you did it just because you wanted to.
Mhm,
Like we'll see, it's like for medicines, for safety, for food.
mhm.
So I think that's something we need to keep in mind. It's like not people, doing it just to do it. they worked against the resistance in some way. And it's like
Yeah,
a big, like being a collaborator is like a really bad thing in this world. Like people look down on you.
so yeah, it's like a really messed up situation because like of course like Fedra is like weaponizing the conditions against people. So for instance, like if like you have a kid and a kid needs like, insulin, like where are you gonna get it from? Fedra. Okay,
Fedra's
if you
the
get it
only
from
place.
Fedra, then you have to give up some information. So it's like using like the needs of people against them. And this resistance group, like they don't have like time for it at all. Like they don't care what the reason is. They just see
Let's
you
talk
as
a
a
little bit about the resistance group. There is a certain population lacking amongst the resistance group. What are they lacking? They're lacking children. Well, one I just realized I was like, that's white people, but
Yeah.
Kansas City. That they're lacking children. Why are they lacking children? They kill them because they're survival of the fittest. If you can't hold your own, they kill you.
Yeah, which is like messed up on like several different levels.
So it's like one of those things. It's like we kind of see how unhinged Kathleen is.
Yeah, which I want to talk about because
Yeah.
Melanie Linsky like is like getting a lot of grief for this, but in my opinion, it is perfect because
She did great. Are you joking?
Yeah, because they're like, oh, this is
Your
not
shirt's
the leader of. Yeah, I'm like disintegrating right now. It's like the snap, but like
I
people
don't
are like,
feel so good.
I don't feel so good, Mr. Stark, but no, people are saying that there's no way she could lead a resistance, but in my mind, like in like 2003, like Kathleen was like a soccer mom. Kathleen was like a Karen, and now she's like because the way she's playing this role is like she's playing this role as like the most unlikely person to be the leader of a resistance.
You got to
But
be
at the
the
same
right
time,
kind of unhinged.
exactly. And so she's the mom who would get mad that like that
She
someone
would get
brought.
you fired from your source of
Yeah,
income because you didn't talk on the right tone to her child.
exactly.
And that's honestly the kind of person you need. The connection I make is and that she's also not a great leader that we're seeing now, like
Oh no, she's
or like in running things, but that's like a historical thing. Like you look at tons of people that were conquerors that were terrible at running just a group of people.
Mhm.
So, and she's one of those people. Like it takes one kind of person, not to get philosophical, it takes one kind of person to just be able to like overthrow something. It's a whole different kind of person to effectively run it. And we're seeing that in this resistance group.
Yeah, because it's funny, her like ineptitude is like her own undoing.
It comes back to bite him in the ass, and we'll get to that.
We will get to that because I was like, those tables, they
Harry,
do
the
turn.
voice actor for him, is the voice actor for Tommy.
Yeah,
in the game. I heard it, I was like, okay.
Yeah, nice little touch there. Yeah.
And then I was like,
so Perry, who is her like her right hand man and
or her brother's right hand man.
Brother's right hand man, and presumably, something else. That's the voice actor for Tommy in the show. He reached out to Neil Druckmann and was like, hey, congrats on the show. And Neil Druckmann was like, I have a role for you. So yeah, they put him in the show. So shout out to him. So this episode ends with, of course, like they basically laugh themselves to sleep, them being Ellie and Joel. And then
very wholesome moment. Mm-hmm.
Very wholesome moment. And then that's when I was like, it's not gonna end well. And they are they get met with guns in their faces. Ellie is like, hey Joel, like just be cool. And they have guns pointed at them. And now we will we will go into episode 5, which is once again.
Oh, we should mention that Joel killed Kathleen's son.
Oh yeah.
But it wasn't. It was because his son was playing games, not giving mercy, and then Ellie. How did she get that gun? She took it from Bill.
Yeah, she took it from Bill.
Bill. she actually saves Joel, and he's like, "Fine, I'll show you how to use the gun because obviously I can't do this on my own." And I think Joel's like starting to realize he's getting old.
Yeah, because like not gonna lie, Joel was getting work there.
But he stabs him, and that's when Kathleen goes full unhinged, because she was already unhinged because a certain character turned her brother into Fedra. We'll get into that later, but she goes super unhinged and starts going on this revenge mission at the cost of the whole community. Because even her little man is like, it's just a couple people. Should we be focusing on something else?
Yeah, like put all our resources into tracking down 2 people. Okay, I will do it if you say so.
But yeah, they wake up. It's Sam. Sam's the younger one, right?
Yeah. Henry's the older brother.
Ray is the older brother, but it's almost like a father-son type of thing.
Right.
And they tracked them. Basically, revealed that they tracked him there. We get Henry's point of view of Joel shooting everyone out. He comes up with the plan. He's like, he's the muscle we need. So that's why it wasn't by accident. They very much tracked them there.
Yeah, because because Henry's a collaborator, but he
we'll find out why.
Yeah, and he
because even Joel's like, I don't know if I want to work with you, dirty collaborator.
Yeah. And yeah, you could tell that like while he might have a plan to like get out the city, like you said, he doesn't necessarily have the muscle, and it's he's
never
being
killed
tracked,
a person.
Never killed a person. It's pretty dangerous. So once he sees like Joel and Ellie like handling themselves, he's like, this is perfect. This is exactly like who we need. And like most like plans that sound too good to be true, Joel is like, why do you need us? And like Henry is like, well, we need you to clear the path. Like I think he says, I'll show you the path. I need you to clear it. So that's why he tries to like bring Joel on board.
And they try to talk about going underground, and this is an important detail. Fedra in Kansas City had forced all of the infected underground. So this is very important. But a Fedra soldier told me it was empty. They were gone, but which Joel knows like they like cold and damp and dark places.
Because then he was like, well, how long ago was this? And it was like, oh yeah, like 2 or 3 years ago. Like, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this episode gets tough because like once again, like it shows you that the moments where you make connections are so short-lived in this world. So
and this is pivotal for Ellie.
Mm-hmm. We get some really good moments between Ellie and Sam, who is deaf. Also, thanks for saying that played by a deaf actor, which is important. But yeah, they make a really great connection, and I think Ellie, like even though Ellie's like 14 and Sam's like 8,
9, yeah,
like
8.
9, yeah. They
I feel like it's one of those things like you hardly ever see another child,
right?
And like, I don't care.
Yeah, I don't care. Like, and they still have like a common bond.
It was more of like, oh, he might have a crush on her.
Yeah,
I think I like this childlike innocence better than a crush. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it definitely.
Since Ellie doesn't play for that team.
Yeah. It definitely plays better on screen the way they portrayed it this time around. Like it's just like they connect over comic books, and they just want to like play and hang out and do things that kids do, which they aren't allowed to do because that's stripped away from them in this world. So
we get a cute moment in like the underground area where there used to be an underground community. I'm assuming before they pushed the infected down there. And they're like in a kids play area and playing soccer, which is just a cute moment. And we get like another point back to the game of Ish, which is a character in the game where if you read notes, and it's based off of, I forget the novel, a character named Ishmael in a post-apocalyptic world. But anyway, there's like a drawing alluding to this guy. So that was really nice.
So
You know what's gonna happen. We just gotta get to the hard part. There's things that happen.
yeah,
Things start to not go their way.
yeah. I was gonna focus on before we get there. I want to focus on Henry and Joel too because I think Joel now like when he sees Henry, he's like, okay, I see why people do this thing and they don't see people as cargo and they transport them and care for
As a
them
child,
like
it's like a
as a
father.
human
Yeah.
being.
It's almost they're brothers, but it's like a father
Right.
daughter thing. And even Henry was like, I can tell you were somebody's dad at some point. Like you're not protective like that for no reason.
Right.
It's an
You were
instinct that's
somebody's dad.
earned.
Right.
So I think
Right.
that kind of reminded Joel to like almost like his humanity that
Mhm.
probably isn't there as much anymore.
So yeah, speaking of humanity, I feel like we have to ask this like very philosophical question. So Henry's predicament, which we kind of
Yeah,
alluded
let's
to.
talk about why he's a collaborator.
Yeah, so um Sam was dealing with leukemia. There was medicine that could possibly help.
Probably chemo
Fedra,
pills.
yeah, Fedra had the medicine. There's only one way to get the medicine, which
So we
is,
keep talking about what's her Kathleen's brother, who
Mhm.
used to be the leader. Um, Henry gives up,
Yeah, he gave him
um,
up.
and I guess do we want to talk about our feelings about that now? Because there's a lot of controversy about this.
Yeah. So I guess we can get into it now because Henry says like I'm a bad person. I did a bad thing, and I have to say like so in this world where like basically the list of things that you care about like they drastically like dwindle down to like maybe one or two things. Like you have to do what you like can do to survive and care about like those one or two things that you care about. So with that being said, with that context, like I think anyone in Henry's situation would have done the same thing.
Unfortunately, it's that push that leads to the resistance just going
Right.
AWOL and
Right.
not even just like overthrowing, but being cruel. Like there's that
Mhm,
Federal soldier has like 15 knife wounds,
mhm.
and it's like that's a little bit over, like literally overkill. Don't you think?
Yes, literally and figuratively. But my thing with the resistance and why I think Harry shouldn't feel bad is like most like most resistive efforts, like if it's not this, it's gonna be that. Something would have pushed the
Kathleen would have
movement
done it for
over
her
that.
brother.
Ex-
Is my
exactly.
opinion.
Exactly. She would have. Like if her brother came between like her and this resistance, she would have given up her
I
own
mean, just like
brother.
how
So
she's like throwing the community to the dirt for this
yeah,
revenge.
yeah.
I don't think you're a bad person. There's like a lot of people that were like the perfect lefters where like you do everything. Besides, they weren't
No.
even clearly. They're not that great themselves because
Right.
the people are hungry. We see the demise of the community, and we'll get into that. It's just almost poetic.
Yeah, so once again, like I think I think most people in Henry's situation would have done the same thing. Like
I
if
would
you
have.
have it if you have a shot to save your little brother, you do it. Like no questions asked.
And Kathleen calls this fucking with fate. I'm just like, fuck you, lady.
Yeah.
Then are you like the thing is aren't you fucking with fate?
Right, because um Dee brings up a very salient point. Like, you know, she can't see that Henry wants to save his brother, but now she's on a revenge tour because her brother was like
It's a good juxtaposition.
you don't see like you don't see the parallels here.
No, and I think like I don't think it's as detailed in the game. I really appreciate the narrative parallels here.
Mhm. Yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah.
They made it very like intentional to like create like a mirror image of the situation to say like, okay, these are like the two extreme poles of like this like moral situation. Like, which side do people fall on if things go? Because yeah, Henry, Joel, like same predicament, but also Henry, Kathleen, same predicament, and it shows like how people can like basically go through the same situation but have a totally different reaction or interpretation of it. So yeah, that was a nice touch added to this episode.
Do we want to get to the chaos?
Let's get to it. Yes.
So I just want to say this is probably to me like one of the best replicated straight from the game scenes I've ever seen. Because in the
Yes.
game, I guess let's just go ahead and get to it. So basically, they're in an open area or sniper. So in the game, you go to Joel where you have to like sneak your way in and take out the sniper. And in the game, there is it's not quite a tank, but it's like a military Hummer.
Mhm.
In the game, that person is holding I guess a Molotov or a grenade. You shoot that, it crashes into a house.
Mhm.
I think in the show, I think it crashes into the house, but we don't know why. And it looks like it's it for Henry and Sam and Ellie. And Henry's like, "Can you at least just let the kids go?" And she's like, "No, we will
No.
not let the kids go." And it's just like super fun. But remember this explosion happened in this house, and earlier in the episode, Perry was like, "Shouldn't we like take care of like the issues in the road and because that's what Fedra like that's one thing they did actually do." And remember what's underground. So all of a sudden, there's a sinkhole, and guess what comes out?
Yeah, like
All the infected, like hundreds. And this also happens in the game. And the mission is like you have to like sniper. You have to protect your party. And basically we get almost like shot for shot of Joel doing the same thing and it works.
Mhm.
I don't think there's many instances of like again you get the game point of view just like that where it's like a mission and it works so well. Like from the camera angle. Because like he really captures the chaos to me of it all.
Yeah, one quick note I want to add here is like how the TV show perfectly translates like the logic of like how you acquire like new items in video games because Joel like kills the sniper, then you see he picks up the sniper rifle and it's now his gun. So like in the game you might stumble upon an item, you add it to like the cache of like your items and it's yours. Yeah, so that's how they're doing it in the
Perfect.
show.
And then like you
And
even
it's
see them
yeah,
like picking up items and stuff and like that's their
right,
item now. It's stuff like that that's like
right.
it makes sense. It's like they make it organic.
Mhm.
But and just like in the game plot, like that's the only way logically that they probably were gonna get out of that is the infected. And they take everybody out, and then what do we get? What do we get to see? Crawling out of that hole.
Yeah, that was so crazy to see
Badass.
that. Yeah.
And it was practical. It was a human being. It was not. It's just you
Yeah.
don't need like CGI is not bad, but you don't need it for everything. Like the fact that all of that was now not all of the infected were there, but like I think it's like a duplicate of different people.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, you can't just because I watched the after the show, and they said like they put these extras in a boot camp for 2 weeks to
Yeah.
learn
So
how they
so
would
they could get
move.
the movements down. Yeah.
It's perfect. Like this is genius to me.
Yeah, because I put it in the group. I also want to make note of it now. When Ellie climbed in a truck and the clicker climbed into
There's a
the
clicker
truck
child.
after her. The
There's a clicker child, and like that's an
cl-
actual child.
yeah, climbed
And
into the truck with her. I was like, nah, nope.
like these zombies are smart.
Hmm.
But we gotta remember that clicker child. She's important. So a lot happens. and it looks like Joel and Henry and Sam and Ellie get out, but then Kathleen shows up. And again, like, even though her whole community's just gone to hell. Oh, yeah, by the way, the bloater.
Yeah.
Amazing. Even has, like, the spore pods. Does literally the kill scene and rips Perry's jaw. And I'm just like, I have to rewind because I'm like, they did not just do.
Yeah, because in the game, like if a bloater gets a hold to you, it
like rips your skull like that, because like it can't really bite you because it's so big. But beautifully done. Apparently that was like a strongman that's like because you gotta get someone that's like really strong to be able to go in that suit, because apparently it's like hundreds of pounds.
Oh damn!
It took over an hour to get into, but beautiful work. But anyway, we get to it looks like they're gonna finally get out, and Kathleen is still not willing to let them go. I think it's just a principle at this point. And then from behind her, this little clicker child just like leaps out of like a spider monkey and just rips her face into shreds. Which I think is ironic, considering because she gave this whole spiel to Henry. It's like, you know, you fucked with fate. Kids die. But all I'm saying, got killed.
Yeah, and like then, even at that point, she could have just said like, "Hey, like all of the affected climb out of the ground. We'll deal with this later. Let's put the beef on the shelf and let's just get the hell out of here." She's still devoted to like revenge, which is her downfall.
She even saw the clicker girl and was like not even bothered. She like went back, looked back.
Right.
She turned her back to the child. I'm like, she's crazy.
Got what she deserved.
Definitely. And this is where we take a tragic turn. They get to like some abandoned motel. And Sam and Ellie are bonding. I think, what is it, like an Etch-a-Sketch thing?
Yeah, it's an
Etch-a-Sketch. Notes back and forth, and Sam writes this note that's like, if you become a monster, is it still you inside? Which is straight from the game, and that's how you know. But they made it worse because in the game, Sam doesn't even disclose the bite, but you show the bite on the ankle, and it looks like it's already gotten worse. And if you remember from the game or from the earlier in the show, how many hours do you have if you have a bite on the ankle? About 24.
Yeah.
12 to 24, and it looks like it's already been a couple hours. So Ellie already kind of believes in this, that she might be the vaccine. And again, like, federal schools are not the same as ours, and even then you're not going to know about, she's on to something, but she just like takes her blood, she's like, my blood is medicine, and like presses it on his. And she believes that he's not going to turn, and then he told her to stay awake while he still has his humanity, and unfortunately she falls asleep and wakes up, and he's and attacks Ellie. And you want to go on what happens when Henry, I'm going to make you go over this part.
Thank you.
Yeah,
so kind of you.
Yeah.
So Sam like basically like crashes through the door with Ellie. Naturally Joel is about to pick up the gun, but Henry like gets the gun from Joel, because I feel like he says like it, well, he doesn't say it, but his actions say it. Like he kind of feels like, I have to be the one to do this. Like I don't want to do it, like, but it's reached this point, so I have to be the one to do it, because like there's no like gentle way to put someone down. But I feel like if he's the one doing it, then he's like, okay, like, yeah.
It is also a heat of the moment thing, because clearly
right,
Sam was gonna kill Ellie. And
yeah.
Then he shoots him. I think it wasn't even much thought. I think it was in the heat of the moment. I really do. And then he realizes like the blood starts to pool, and I like the change, because in the game he blamed it on Joel, which is like, But in this game, he's like, what did I do? What did I do? And fortunately, he shoots himself. I'm really glad they didn't put it on screen because a lot of shows are really bad about unnecessary. Like,
Yeah,
the
it
point
didn't
was
need to be on
clear.
screen. Yeah.
The point was clear. It was really horrifying. I think for Joel, that loss, but I think Ellie, like, that was deep. And she blames herself a lot because on the Etch a Sketch, when they bury him, and I'm glad they show them burying them, she puts, I'm sorry. So I think this was clever to have this change because I think it sows a seed of doubt in her mind.
Yeah, I was going to say thank you
I
for
think
mentioning
Joel
that.
saw it too, so I'm thinking he figured. So for things that happen later on, it justifies in Joel's mind.
Yeah, I was just going to say
it's we don't know. We don't know if she's an actual effective vaccine or she's just fortunate.
Yeah, I was gonna say, not only does it sow seeds of doubt, like as far as like how they feel about navigating this world, I almost feel like it's like a role reversal because you see like Ellie like very nonchalant just walk away, but you can see Joel is the one really affected
He's
by
like, we
this.
should talk about this, and she's like, no, we're moving
Yeah,
on.
and she's like, nah, we got to move on. So it's almost like a role reversal now. Like, so I feel like Joel is going to be the one like yearning for like a human interaction and contact, and then Ellie is going to be hardened by this like situation because like she made a connection and it was like instantly ripped away from her.
Herself.
Yeah, she blames herself and she's starting to learn that like relationships don't last long in this world. And she also said earlier in the episode she's afraid of eventually like being alone, which yeah. so yeah,
that's like very far future.
Yeah, that's like way in the future, but yeah, I do think that was like a very nice touch. So as usual, like all of the little changes that are made, they are made
for
like
the better.
Yeah, but for the better, with the intention of like making like, okay, how can we make the video game make sense as a TV show? So every change so far has like worked.
And I will say, just to give like some credit, this is like a very narrative based video game. So it makes sense because again, Neil Druckmann, who's behind both, knows what he's doing. He's a wonderful storyteller. Did you watch the trailer?
Yes.
So this is what I'm thinking. That's a huge time jump.
Because when I saw the trailer, I was like, oh.
But I don't think it's what it is. But also because remember a couple episodes ago we saw hints of Riley, and that didn't happen yet.
Okay.
So I'm wondering, but there is a point of where something happens, and this is a spoiler for the game, but not the show. Something happens in the game, and you can't send, because I think Joel's intent was just to leave Ellie with Tommy, and I think something happens where he can't do that, and he still has to continue on. I think where do they end up in the game? I can't remember.
Yeah, I can't remember.
Because it's not quite the West still. I don't know.
Because I think they're like, I feel
I
like
think they go down.
Yeah.
I feel like they almost go closer to Colorado for some reason.
Yeah.
I think it's Colorado.
Yeah, I was gonna say I feel like this is like Wyoming or something, but it might be. It's
that would
definitely
make
that
sense.
area.
Well, Wyoming is where that makes sense. Wyoming is where Tommy is.
Yeah.
So it would make sense because I'm sure, just like in current day in this game, that there's really not much in that stretch. No offense. There's really not much there.
Considering that there are areas like in that state that are like uninhabitable, yeah, I'm pretty sure that's probably the safest. I mean, you're gonna freeze your ass off, but I'm pretty sure that's probably one of the safest places to go.
Yeah, all the rural people won.
Like think about it. Like no infected would probably want to come to like Wyoming. They probably couldn't survive there. So yeah, you're perfect. -80 degrees. Who cares?
They probably don't even know the Dakotas exist.
Exactly. I
mean, it's not as bad as being in Boston.
No. Or Kansas City.
that is now basically just done for.
Yeah. They're
Was that
overrated.
cathartic for you?
Very much so. With their
Because this originally
overrated
was going to be in
barbecue and-
Pittsburgh. It was going to be in Pennsylvania.
yeah.
And now it's in Kansas City. I'm sorry. The parallels are a little bit.
Yeah.
You know what
Little-
didn't get
little too
overrun by,
soon.
in fact, you know what, who didn't get overrun? Philadelphia. So
I mean,
it could be Philadelphia. You know what we're going to say? Because there's no proof to the contrary. Philadelphia is thriving.
yeah.
Like the
Like,
Rocky statue is still intact.
Because in this universe, Andy Reid never leaves the Philadelphia Eagles, and they're like a one-team NFL, and they're just like scrimmaging against each other, and they're winning
the
the Super Bowl
champion,
every
like,
year.
every year.
They're the champion every single year. Philadelphia is thriving. Yes.
And Fedra's not there, but like the people that running it are sane.
Like Allen Iverson is still cool. Like he's still with the Sixers, and he's still playing. And
Yeah,
he's
the
like,
sports fans there are not in any kind of pain.
not at all. They like jump through tables like without shirts on. So like zombie apocalypse is nothing for them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Honestly, if I had to take like Philadelphians versus the infected, I would take Philadelphians. Honestly,
Yeah.
like, I believe in them.
Like when the Eagles won the NFC Championship, like they were on top of the bus stop. Like one guy fell through, and then he just got up and like just walked off into the night. Like
They're fine.
they're fine.
They're probably all immune, just like Ellie. Because their like blood cells are probably like actually.
Uh-huh. And there's only like native Philadelphians. Like you have to have that native Philadelphia blood to be immune to it. Like if you're like a transplant, it doesn't apply to you.
I still want to know what like happens in the southern cities.
Yeah. Yeah, like how's Mobile doing right now? Yeah.
What if it's like the same? Because I mean, it's Mobile.
Yeah, it's
changed.
Mobile. Yeah.
And it's like, oh, let's not go there. Imagine like you're like if they're like imagine like Cajun infected. And then like no, you know how to get like a mobile infected not to bite you is be like, okay, where did Mardi Gras start? And they just start going on a rant,
Right.
and you
And
can
then
just
they
walk
just
away.
go on a rant. Yeah.
And you walk away.
And then you're like, wow, like Fat Tuesday in New Orleans is so fun. And then the affected just stops like, whoa. We created this.
It's like, I want
We
some
were the
beignets.
first. Yes.
I need this. Like, I need like a Key and Peele
Yeah.
sketch of this.
Like Joel and Ellie are like mixing bowls of like light brown roux and just putting them outside so the zombie can see it. Like, whoa, who made this? And like they just freak out when they see like this light brown roux. Like, whoa, this isn't even like how it's supposed to be. Like, who made this? I want to talk to you. Yeah, like that's what you gotta do.
Or like, especially in the South, just like carrying around like a New York tray of barbecue.
Yeah.
They don't want to get anywhere near you.
Like the infected are like going inside of like soul food restaurants to get a like glass of tea. They take a sip, it's unsweet, and then they're like, whoa, like I don't want this. What is going on right now?
Just like douse yourself in unsweet tea.
Yeah, just you'll be safe.
Just like spray. Oh my God. So maybe the South survived.
I think so.
Well, I just need to see this in a sketch, that's all.
I feel like I need to see it, yes. But yeah, I think we'll end the recap here. Shout out
Great
to
episodes.
Yeah. Thanks for listening. Even if you're in Kansas City or Mobile. Thank you for listening.
Boston, we don't want you listening.
Yeah, not Boston though, sorry. Shout out to Jalen Hurts. Hope he's doing all right in the zombie apocalypse. But yeah, we'll end the episode here. Thanks for watching it. Thanks for listening. Until next time. Peace.